Welcome to another episode of Becoming,
Rock solid.
and we're your hosts, Mindy.
And Sean Harley.
And on today's episode, we're going to be giving our 2 cents on the trending health topics that are in the news currently. So let's dive in.
I keep it rockin' like Primus. I'm way too turned up on a mission. Ain't no sitting in silence. It's too electrifying to shot. Find the muscle you're hiding, hard off the pressure. I bring the pressure to the bitch. I don't ride and see me live. Get it right. Free your mind. We got some living to do. We bring it big from a trauma, make them sick. You know he flexing when they ask you who you with. We gon' rep it for life. Rock solid. Rock solid. Rock solid. We becoming rock solid. Hey.
All right. So trending in the news, apparently there's an intermittent sobriety trend happening right now with the Gen Z peeps.
Intermittent sobriety.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So it's a growing trend that's intermittent sobriety involving individuals taking regular breaks from alcohol consumption. And so this movement is primarily driven by Gen Z, and it emphasizes the health benefits of reducing alcohol intake and has led to a rise in the popularity of the non-alcoholic drinks that we're seeing.
All right, Gen Z, I like it. I can get behind that. Intermittent sobriety. I think that's a great idea. And, I didn't, I grew up drinking on the weekends, all through high school, college, through my 20s. And it wasn't until I was like age 32 when I started competing that I actually went like a decent amount of time without drinking, Even when I was like doing fitness modeling and stuff throughout my 20s, I would still go have a couple vodka waters on a Friday night, a week before a shoot or something like that. But it wasn't until I, committed to doing like a bodybuilding show that I was really motivated to go like 12 weeks or long, without drinking at all. And when I did that, wow, I think my physique just really leveled up quickly. Like the body fat just came off a lot faster. The muscle just worked a lot better. And even if it was just a couple drinks on the weekends, like, stopping that altogether really just helped me take it to the next level.
Yeah, I think it all adds up. And, when you have alcohol in your body, no matter what, I mean, you got some poison in you. Your body's not able to function properly. So many negative health effects that come with that. And so seeing the younger generation now say, hey, we want to take a break from this. We want to, we want to have a little break from you for a little while and not partake and not drink on the weekends and get shit-faced or whatever else, that kids do these days. I think it's great, and cheers to more non-alcoholic drinks.
Yeah, and I think that intermittent fasting can maybe be applied to a lot of different vices. We have dry January, we have no nut November, right? And so pick your vice and do a intermittent sobriety on that.
Yeah, let's take it up a notch, guys. Why just stop at alcohol?
Yeah.
There's so many more things that we could like pick off the list.
I mean, that's probably like maybe the first challenge for most people,
Yeah.
or maybe the biggest thing for most people that is maybe one of the vices in their life. But yeah, whether that's whether you're used to smoking weed every day, whether you're used to doing the stuff you shouldn't be doing in No Nut November every day. Giving those things up for a little bit, you start to rewire your brain. You start to overcome some of these addictions, these desires that we have that keep you in a lower level of vibration. You start to overcome some of those things.
Yeah, and I just think too, you said low level vibration. And it was so funny because just the other day I was talking to my girlfriend, Kim, and I said, my rule of thumb generally is that I stay away now from anything that a celebrity endorses and promotes. And wouldn't you know it, they're really all the most toxic things for us. There's alcohol, there's perfumes, tampons now. Amy Schumer doing those commercials for Tampax.
Tampon commercials?
Doing Tampax commercials.
Interesting.
Right? So it's like you got alcohol, you've got junk food.
They all got their own alcohol brand.
They all have that. They basically, that's what you do. You come out with an alcohol
got the Rock,
brand.
the Jay-Z. Didn't P. Diddy have his own vodka or something
Yeah,
too?
something.
I
Yeah, some
feel
sort
like
of
he did.
alcohol. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he apparently messed up with those guys or something. His like,
Had
ego.
that GHB based vodka probably just handing out at the lube parties.
Oh goodness. Yeah. So I mean, that's my rule of thumb: stay away from anything that a celebrity endorses, because actually, it's all toxic.
The opposite of what most Americans are conditioned to do, right? We're conditioned to be like, oh, celebrity endorsement.
Yeah.
Companies pay big bucks for those celebrity endorsements. But yeah, once you kind of wake up to it all, you kind of see through that, like, okay, well, if their celebrities are endorsing it, it's probably something I should try to stay away from. Mm-hmm. I almost feel like sunglasses are a big celebrity psyop.
Those two, yes, sunglasses.
Like celebrities try to make sunglasses look cool, right? They're wearing them on the red carpet, and they're wearing them to the movie premieres, indoors, right? Trying to look cool.
I'll wear my sunglasses.
Yeah. But sunglasses, shut off that natural sunshine from getting into your brain and all the biological responses that come with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, there again, it's just poisoning your body, and it's definitely not healthy for you. Moving on. So, this is an interesting one. Impact of calorie labels on eating disorders. So recent studies suggest that calorie labels on restaurant menus may negatively affect individuals with eating disorders. The presence of calorie information can influence eating behaviors and exacerbate symptoms in vulnerable populations. Ooh.
I think that having those calories on the menu is a good thing, and I think most people believe that too. There's research showing that most people believe that's a good thing. And I know for me that it makes a little bit of a difference. And if I'm eating out and I see something that's 2,000 calories, or I can get something that's 700 calories, but is still looks pretty appealing to me.
I mean, we just finished eating
calories
at Cheesecake Factory, which
they put all the calories on there.
They put all the calories on there. We took
which is very educational, I think.
Yeah,
because like you go there and you're like, holy cow, this has 4,000 calories in this thing. That's
Who
more
would
than
have
I eat
thought?
in 2 days.
It was a garden salad.
Yeah, right. And so I think it's extremely educational. And one of those eating disorders studies that I looked at was, I think it's from 2018, and it had like 800 18-year-old women with eating disorders, which is probably not best to base all our public policy off that small demographic of 18-year-old female eating disorder people. But it just showed that, they looked at anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating. And they said when the calories were on the menu, if they were anorexic or bulimia, they would choose lesser calories. And if their eating disorder was binge eating, they would choose a food with more calories. And so it is what it is, I think. If you've got anorexia or bulimia, you're probably making those choices similar to that anyways,
Yeah, and I think, this is what do we bend? How do we find that balance in society, right? Where, this labeling is there, you're going out. I mean, I think when I think back to when I was younger, I wouldn't say, I necessarily had an eating disorder, but, I was definitely an emotional eater, and I definitely ate a lot of crap. I didn't have a clue about calories. I had no idea of calories in, calories out. I had nothing. But I think if I was in this age now, being like that and being, conscious of what was going into my body, everything, how it was feeling my body, that would have made a difference for me. When I'm like, oh shit, it's like you can think like, yeah, eating a block of cheese is probably not the best for you, but when you're when you're younger, you don't really have that necessarily that connection either, right? So yeah, it's a tough one. I don't think we should necessarily bend to this one.
Yeah. I mean, I emphasize with them and all, but they've got to work to have their own healthy relationship with food again, and I don't think the rest of the population needs to suffer any negative consequences from that at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean...
And we have the right, I think, to know what we're eating and what's going into us ourselves, because as somebody that knows about macronutrients and calories and have dieted as a pro bodybuilder and have really dialed that in extremely, and who currently isn't trying to dial that in extremely, but being able to make good decisions when you're at restaurants and having the data in front of you to help inform those decisions, I think, is a positive thing for the great majority of the population.
Yeah, I think so too. Moving on.
What else you got?
So, first off, obviously, we all know and have known someone that has been diagnosed with. Obviously, this is coming up in the news a lot. But recently, NBA icon Dwayne Wade revealed his diagnosis with at the age of 41. He had part of his kidney removed. Michael Strahan has opened up about his daughters, Isabella's battle with brain cancer. And so what they're saying is that these stories have brought up increased attention to awareness and the importance of early detection. So first and foremost, obviously, so incredibly sorry for anyone that's going through that with their family, with their friends, anyone that they know has been diagnosed with cancer. Obviously, not great to deal with. But I think we need to be a little aware here. Again, we just talked about celebrities. When you see a celebrity being pushed forward in the news and celebrities being pushed forward in the news with certain talking points. And I mean, it's quite obvious. Yeah, we're seeing more and more stories of people being diagnosed with coming up in the news all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I second that idea about being cautious of when you see celebrity headlines in the news and what kind of message they're trying to push, especially when you are looking at celebrities that are a known part of the agenda. You know, I think Dwayne Wade had his son transitioned into a girl. And it was a very public thing, right? And so, you know, he's used to push agendas.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think we can be clear on that. And so now they're coming out with a story that's saying that he had a couple of years ago, and he's just now putting it out there or talking about it.
Yeah.
You know, seems a little questionable. Like, why now? Why all of a sudden now? You know, why didn't he talk about it when it was happening or a little sooner? And you know, we look at what's going on in society right now, and there have been a lot of doctors blowing the whistle about the big C being related to certain medical interventions that were forced upon a lot of people here recently.
Yeah.
And expecting kind of a big outbreak of what they called, you know, turbo Cs, we'll call it. And a lot of young people getting that as well. And so they're trying to normalize that by saying, oh, look, these celebrities have it too. And so it's just a normal thing, right? And what else is going on in that industry too? They announced the mRNA technology that's going to be used to fight the big C. And that's like going to be the first purpose of it, right? They've got to have a really, you know, positive thing to push that upon the people so that we accept it. Like, here's all the good that it's going to do and, you know, what we're trying to do with it. But that's the very thing that was causing that in a lot of people, according to a lot of doctors and researchers.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so much to unpack with this as well. You know, the importance of early detection, you know, that falls into, especially with early detection, whether it's for men, I know for women, you're being encouraged, you know, to get your pap smears, your mammograms. I can only, speak from my experience, and I stopped getting paps when I was like 20, probably around there. I've never gone for a mammogram. You know, I would advocate for thermography or ultrasound instead because, you know, there's a double-edged sword with early detection because you can go in for early detection and they may see something and they say, oh, and it turns out to be nothing. And when you cut into it, it goes everywhere, right? And then so you kind of dealing with, you know, a big explosion, so to speak. And I don't think we're really taking a look at, you know, all of the natural ways that we can keep our body in that beautiful, wonderful state and all those natural ways we can use to supplement our body's healing journey without having to go to big pharma and be subject to poisons and whatnot being put into our bodies.
Well, those natural ways are actively suppressed and actively kept away from the consciousness of most people.
Yeah.
And there's so many, like I am in the supplement world, and so I look up different uses of different supplements, and there are so many supplements that are anti. It's like a lot. And then there's also a lot of different, there's that doctor in California that runs that True North clinic. That's a fasting clinic, and people will go in there with bad, and they will go on a 30 or maybe even a 40-day fast, and they'll come out and their gone. There's testimony after testimony coming out of this place.
Yeah.
And, things like that, things like apricot seeds, things like,
B17.
Yeah, B17.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could get into a bunch of different topics,
Yeah.
about different but there's a lot of them, and they're actively suppressed, and we're supposed to think that there's no cure for and, there's all you can do is take this radiation drug or, go through these really extreme harmful measures that seem to be breaking the body down more than it's helping most people. They have like a 1 or 2% success rate with them.
Yeah. So now, of course, we have the mRNA quote unquote, which is just basically the gateway tech for CRISPR-Cas9, which is gene therapy. And we are the continuation of the R&D, really. They went and, stuck everybody with one thing to cause a reaction. Now they get to try new software to fix that virus and see how it reacts in our body, because they are working up to, this CRISPR-Cas9 technology. So we're going to see that, evolution of that technology, and, we are simply the guinea pigs.
Right. As if was purely genetic and they needed to edit your genes for you to not get So my advice to you is to start avoiding those things that might give you. And so all those extra chemicals and stuff in our foods and everywhere else in our life, check out our 12 toxic product episode that we shot, and start eliminating all these carcinogens and et cetera, all these other things from your life, and reduce the odds that you're going to have to deal with that whole industry.
Yeah. And also to really take a look at yourself on an emotional level as well, because these emotions, these hurts, these traumas that we can carry and we hold the torch over for so many years, and we can't stop talking about it, and we're still mad and angry at that person. When we're holding in all these emotions in our body as well, that just creates a toxic, acidic environment as well for things to just start mutating.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a client at my old gym back in the day. He was a doctor, and he was in a terrible relationship. His wife just was a very angry person and caused him a lot of stress, right? And just one of those marriages that the dude's just constantly stressed. And he got and he was going through a pretty hard time. And eventually he got a divorce from her, and she went away. He started working out, taking care of himself, and mostly started reducing his stress. And within the next year, he was free. Yeah, it was pretty remarkable. And I asked him, and he didn't quite click it. He was a very materialistic doctor yet, and so he didn't quite make that connection. But I'm just talking to him, and I'm like, so do you feel like, since you split with the wife, is your stress way down? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, do you consider some of that to be why you're cured? And he had to think about a while, and he's like, yeah, I think probably so. And I'm like, yeah, probably so. So yeah, you make a good point there.
Yeah, definitely a lot to think about when it comes to that, and keeping ourselves as healthy as possible and staying away from big pharma, because big pharma is nothing but just a Band-Aid solution, and we have to be careful when we're the ones that are going to be under the knife. Absolutely. So do what you can to avoid that whole system. That's my goal in life, right? And so that means exercise, and that means eating healthy, but that also just means handling your own stress, your own mental, and then reducing carcinogens in your life wherever you can. And last but not least in the news, obviously, fear porn. So surge in norovirus cases, respiratory illnesses on the rise. So things like influenza, 19, RSV are surging across the country. And current cases are more than double than last year's peak, according to the CDC.
Oh, no. You mean flu season?
You mean, oh, wait.
It's here again like it's been here every year?
Shit. That's what it is, huh? Oh, man. Well, I mean, we're tongue-in-cheek about this. And I mean, if you've been following us long enough, you understand our humor in this. But, yeah, it's that time of year again where people are not getting enough vitamin D, they're staying inside, not getting enough movement, they're slugging more beers than usual, they're eating more chips than usual. You know, it's that whole let's embrace the hibernation mode, right? Let's just eat everything and stay cozy on the couch.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then of course, you know, there is other things too that obviously the effects of the past few years, people's immune systems aren't what they used to be either. And that's making them very susceptible, especially because they're not keeping their temple clean. So again, shitstorm that's happening in, of course, a regular season.
Yeah. And we know, too, as they try to come out with this new technology that they're going to really, make the case that they need to use it on you, right?
Yeah.
And so they're going to push headlines like that. And so this is where I go back to you again, kind of like my advice on the topic there. Do the things that you need to do to keep your own immune system healthy and keep your body detoxed and avoid having to participate in these crazy narratives like that.
So, I mean, without really getting into the whole viruses, are they real?
Virus versus terrain theory.
Or is it fake? Is it fake news? It just falls back on the onus is always on us. It is. Mm-hmm. It's always on us.
Yeah. Just take responsibility for
Take
your own
responsibility
health.
for your own health.
Yeah. And so, this means keeping your immune system strong. And so, again, nutrition and exercise, but also like a good gut microbiome environment there, eating sauerkraut or fermented foods to help feed yourself some good bacteria, because 70 to 80% of your immune cells are in your gut microbiome. And so if you can keep that healthy, you're going to be doing pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then it's other things like vitamin D. This is the time of year when people aren't getting enough sun. They're not getting outside as much. And so if you're not supplementing with vitamin D, you're probably going to have low vitamin D levels. And vitamin D, when first came out, big headlines, big studies showed that 80% of severe cases were linked to vitamin D deficiency.
Oh, people didn't like you saying that.
They don't like to hear that.
They don't like hearing that.
It's a study you can go look up.
Yeah.
And so, vitamin D and zinc and some of these other things, vitamin C, are just things that you can do too to keep your own natural immune system up and not have to worry about catching one of these. I haven't been sick real sick since like 2012, Once in a while, maybe I'll feel something coming on a little bit, but I feel like I've got a strong enough immune system now that it kind of takes care of it before it gets to anything too bad.
And I'm so glad you bring that up, because we've had our own little evolution. And I look back even as far as, I think, 2017? You could probably scroll back to my Instagram, find the photos, wearing a cute little army getup. But I just finished getting super ass sick, took my homeopathic medicine, managed to get right as rain for my birthday. And what'd I do? I drank again. Like, what the heck? And you just think, like, what was I thinking? And that was seriously, after that time, I must have had that thought, Mindy, what the fuck were you thinking? And that was the last time that I got sick. And since then, yeah, I take a look at how our diets have changed, our habits have changed. And I think, yeah, no wonder why we haven't been sick since in how many years. Because we're as good as we thought we were taking care of ourselves when we were bodybuilding. No. And we're doing a much, 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 much better job now. And gosh, there's still room to grow. But I think that's where the proof is in the pudding of how much better that when you can take care of your body just loves you back.
Yeah. So, flu seasons are going to come and go. And all you can do is control yourself, The old Stoic principle, don't worry about what you can't control. Focus your energy on what you can control. And so you can control your exercise, your nutrition, how you take care of your immune system, how you handle your stress. These are things that are under your control. It may not feel like it now, but if you put in the effort, you'll understand.
So don't let sensationalized fear porn news headlines throw you off. Take control. And so there you have, guys. That was our hot take on the hottest health news trends currently streaming. We hope you enjoyed them.
And we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode if you enjoyed it.